Hello class. In our last class, we discussed about how there will be a change of substance on heating and how there will be a change of substance on cooling. In case of melting and evaporation, we have seen how the changes will take place. So when a solid changes to liquid, we have seen that the intermolecular space becomes from very close to close. Intermolecular force becomes strong to not so strong, and the movement of molecules in case of solid, it's vibrate at only one position, so when it converts into liquid it start moving from one position to another. And in case of liquid to gas, intermolecular space becomes close to far apart, and intermolecular force becomes not so strong to weak, and movement of molecules becomes moving from one position to another to moving randomly in all directions. This was the change of substance on heating. Again, we have seen that change of substance on cooling, what will happen in the process called condensation and freezing. So when a substance changes from gas to liquid, the intermolecular space from far apart comes to close, and in case of freezing, from liquid to solid, the intermolecular space becomes close to very close. Intermolecular force in case of condensation, from weak it becomes not so strong, and movement of molecules in condensation, moving randomly in all directions, start moving from one position to another, whereas in freezing, moving from one position to another to convert into vibrating about a fixed position. So today we will see the law of conservation of mass, as well as that before that we need to understand one important fact. So till now we have studied that we have only three states of matter, but now the scientists and the researchers has developed two more states of matter. So apart from solid, liquid and gas, there are two states of matter, that is plasma and Bose-Einstein condensate. So the two different other states of matter are plasma and Bose-Einstein condensate. Plasma state is considered the fourth state of matter. Gases on heating to a very high temperature changes to a plasma. A plasma consists of free electrons and ions. So this plasma state is considered the fourth state of matter, and it is formed when the gases is heated at a very high temperature. A plasma consists of free electrons and ions. A similar process occurs in the sun and other stars. The gases in fluorescent tubes and neon bulbs get heated and forms a plasma when electricity is passed through them. The plasma causes the fluorescent tubes and neon bulbs to glow. So the gases that are present in the fluorescent tubes, that is tube lights and all, is actually a plasma state. Next is Bose-Einstein condensate. In 1920, an Indian scientist named S.N. Bose, Satyendranath Bose, gave the concept of the fifth state of matter on the basis of his concept. Albert Einstein predicted the existence of new state of matter called Bose-Einstein condensate. It is formed when a gas having a very low density is cooled to a very low temperature. So Bose-Einstein condensate was given by the Indian scientist S.N. Bose, where a gas which is a very low density is cooled at very low temperature, so that will lead to formation of Bose-Einstein condensate. So from this we came to learn that we have got apart from solid, liquid and gas, we have got two other states of matter. One is plasma and other is Bose-Einstein condensate. Now next, a very very important law of conservation of mass. So the law of conservation of mass states that matter is neither created nor destroyed during a chemical reactions. So this is the statement for this. It states that Matter is neither created nor destroyed. This means that there is no change in mass during a chemical reaction. So, according to the statement, it means that there is no change during the there is no change in mass during the reaction. That means whatever we take before the reaction, you'll get the same amount after the reaction as well. For example, 10 gram of water boils to form 10 gram of steam or freezes to form 10 gram of ice. So, when you take 10 gram of water and you just boil it to form steam, it will form the same amount of steam. Or if you freeze it 10 gram of water, it will give you the same amount of ice, it is 10 gram of ice. This is called the conservation of mass. In other words, law of conservation of mass also can be stated as the mass of the products equals the mass of the reactants in a chemical reaction. So if you take the two reactants and if you add the mass of that, and if you see the product and take out the mass, you'll find that the mass of the reactant and product are same. This is also a conservation of mass. Say for example, magnesium bonds in oxygen to produce magnesium oxide. The total mass of the oxygen and magnesium reacted equals the mass of the magnesium oxide produced. Say for example, if you take magnesium and oxygen, when you bond this, it forms magnesium oxide. Now if you take the weight of these two together before the reaction and after the reaction, when magnesium oxide forms, you'll find that the mass before the reaction will be equal to the mass after the reaction. Similarly, when nitrogen and hydrogen combine at a high temperature to form ammonia, the total mass of hydrogen and hydrogen reacted equal the mass of the ammonia formed. So when nitrogen and hydrogen reacts, it's from ammonia. So the mass before the reaction will be equal to the mass after the reaction. Now, assignment 4, today's assignment. Question number 1. Beside the 3 states of matter, name the 4th and the 5th states that has been discovered. Okay. Question number 2. State the law of conservation of mass. Question number 3. Explain the law of conservation of mass with the help of an example. So you need to give an example to explain the law of conservation of mass. And lastly, question number 4. Who put forward the law of conservation of mass? So complete this assignment and send it in my mail.